This is the AI Music Revolution, brought to you by JG Beats Lab. JG Beats Lab is a methodology company for serious musicians working with AI tools. Not tips, not hacks, a complete system for getting consistent professional output from platforms like Suno and Murica. We call it the unlocked system. The framing is simple. You can be a vending machine operator, pressing buttons and accepting whatever the AI gives you back, or you can be a director, understanding the platforms well enough to get exactly what you want from them. Lane 2 work, human-authored, AI-assisted music creation. That's what this show is built on. Here's today's episode. Hello and welcome to Red Lab Conversations. This is our second of the Red Lab Conversations series that we're doing on the AI Music Revolution podcast. Today I have William Harper, who is a classically trained pianist from Guyana, who has been playing since he was 5 years old. He's done cruise ships, studio sessions, worship music, and live production work across multiple instruments for decades. He found AI music the way a lot of serious musicians find it, not through hype, but through someone using it at a level that stopped him in his tracks. What William brought to this conversation is something I don't hear often enough in the AI music world: a deep understanding of how these models actually think, and a philosophy about creative control that I think is going to really resonate with a lot of you. He's a Red Lab Access member. He's already releasing AI-assisted music, and he's one of those people who makes everyone around him better just by sharing what he's figured out. Here's William Harper. I am pleased to welcome William Harper to the program. He's a Red Lab Access member, very passionate about the world of AI music, and I'm looking forward to digging into his story today. So, William, welcome to the podcast. How's everything going in your world these days?
I am great. I'm good. I'm excited to be alive. I think we're living in great days with all that is happening around us with tech and everything. I am excited. Seriously, I'm good.
Welcome. And where are you out of again?
I am from Guyana, South America, Guyana, formerly British Guyana.
Amazing. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. And let's right out of the gate, let's tap into what your history is, what your background, your musical background. What has your musical journey been that led you to this point in time where you've been experimenting with AI music?
So I'm a classical trained pianist. I've been playing since I was 5. I'm a pastor's kid. I'm a pastor, but my father was a pastor. So my father was a musician. He passed in 2012. So my whole life I've been doing music with church. I'm a hardware live guy. You know, everything for us is live.
Yeah,
I play more than one instrument. I play guitar. I play bass guitar. I play guitar. I started playing pianos, then guitar, and in 2003 or so, I'm age 43, so I was born in 1982. In 2003, I got serious with synthesizers and real programming of sounds. In 2008 is when I got into DAWs, like digital stuff. That was very powerful for me. I started using Reason. I'm still a Reason user. I thought it was so powerful that I could have all these sounds and everything in a box. That was I got wild with that. So that really is my journey to where I am. But I play a lot. I did cruise ships for 6 years. I was a band leader. I traveled doing cruise ships. Wow. Do a lot of production work, play on a lot of studio projects. So I'm a music guy. I really play.
That's amazing. There are a couple of things that pop for me, and that one was that transition from being classically trained into the world of DAW. there tends to be some stigma, right? Especially in those early days of DAW, the band in the box type of stuff. And so it sounds like you were in that world for a while. And so you must have been one of the earlier adopters of that. And so that's probably why you were able to jump into AI and not view it so much as a threat, view it more as a tool.
Yes, yes. Very, 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 very powerful. Because for me, I don't like to say my country's poor. People say third world, but I have always how I've seen and I'm talking about DAWs when I went over to Reason, those who understand how expensive it is to do hardware production, to get into the studio and studio hours, just having all the sounds in the box was power for me. The first time I opened a computer and I showed my father, I remember I pulled up the demo for Reason 4. They would have the demo song, not the demo as in the crack, the demo song. He's like, son, this is it? He's like, my dad passed in 2012, he's gone on the other side. He said, son, this is powerful. So here he's like, so you could make music for church with this. I said that I could make music for the world with this.
Wow.
And so I've always had a philosophy, and I had many enemies for this, where the average man has power in his hands because there is no limitations except his imagination. I've always been impressed with it.
And I know in the world of worship music as well, like music is such a strong component to that entire space. And so, I'm sure that you coming up through that and participating in that world helps you to stay on top of your game as well.
Yeah. You can't bluff that world, because that space, you have to make whatever you do, make it, and I'm going to use the religious community language. Yeah. You have to make whatever you do have life. Mm-hmm. So very quickly, I had to learn how to make digital song, not digital, real. But there's really not digital, I'm just using, but I had to learn very early that, it doesn't sound robotic. It doesn't sound so I've always had to be transforming things into that space, because the religious, the Christian community worship music, you always they call it the anointing. You always have to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always been bending digital things, and so that's my forte.
The importance of putting that humanity into the music, and we've all heard music in our time that gripped us, and it's not necessarily because they played the best chords or they were the most talented percussionist. There's just this element to it that you can't put into words, you can only experience. And I think that those who will really capitalize into this new world with AI music will be the ones that really know how to take AI, use it as a tool, but still inject the humanity into the music. Quick break in the episode. If what you're hearing today is connecting with you, the place to start is the Minimum Starter Kit. 3 books, $27. Make it, release it, promote it. The first book is Unlock Suno, the complete guide. This is the methodology for getting consistent, professional output from Suno. The Suno Stack Mental Mode, Persona Work, Style Box Weighting, the Director's Cut Workflow. The second book is Unlock Music Rights and Registration, Royalty Collection, Copyright Protection, ASCAP, MLC, Sound Exchange, DistroKid, and the disclosure landscape we're now operating in. everything you need to actually get paid for the music you're releasing. The third book is Unlock Music Promotion, how to get heard once your music is out there. Playlist pitching, audience building, the platforms that move the needle and the ones that don't. Make it, release it, promote it. $27 at jgbeatslab.com/store. Back to the episode.
That is what got me to you, because when I was in a church community, my mentor, who's a preacher, but 2 years ago he was using Suno, but I did not know it was Suno because he was in a conference teaching this stuff privately, but it was so expensive that I went privately to go figure out what he was doing. But he was speaking about it because I was a part of the community, but it was really expensive for me to be a part of what he was doing. So my first encounter with AI music, really somebody using it very advanced, this guy using very advanced, was that he was making worship music. But his quest was he wanted to use his voice to he felt that, you know, he wasn't a great speaker or anything, and he didn't like much of his voice. So he wanted a tool to express his creativity. He didn't care if it was not his voice, but he just needed this tool to give. So he figured out Suno, but this guy is somebody that is high end. He's behind the scenes with these companies. And that was like what he was doing. Like the first time I heard a song from AI, and I'm talking about when this stuff was not, Suno was whatever it was, but you couldn't just type in Suno and see a whole lot of people up there, like how we took off a few months ago. This is a guy who I heard a gospel song sung like a whole choir.
Yeah, wow.
I'm like, my God. But not knowing anything about AI, he very quickly said something that I ran with. He said, I am able to use this machine because I'm able to speak to it and talk to it as a musician.
Yeah.
And so it will do for me what I am an expert at musically. And that was very impressive to me.
Love it.
Mind you, I did not know it was AI because he was not saying it was Suno.
Yeah.
Now I'm a part of his world. Now I know what it is.
Yeah.
But then when he was saying that, I did not know it was Suno. I just became aware of the world of AI, artificial intelligence. And that was crazy for me. What made me like you is that your philosophy was, we're going to bend this thing. We're going to command this thing. That is what got me with you. Seriously. I'm like, this dude is onto something. This dude this is how we musicians do this thing.
We collectively, we are in the very early stages of this journey as well. You know, when you look at the tools, when you look at the knowledge that we have, we're still very early. And so just imagine with you know, those of us in the community who are really wanting to use this tool in this way, imagine what we will be able to fast forward a year from now. What does this world look like then, 2 years from now? Like it's mind blowing. And, you know, I'm excited. I love finding people like you and connecting with like-minded individuals. To me, I'm a big fan of community, and I think that is really helps propel things forward. And so, anyway, I'm glad we're part of the same community here. So I think that's fantastic.
20 years from now, a group must be looking and listening to us and think, hey, these guys are really still talking. These guys are still relevant. That is how I'm thinking this conversation is right now.
So talk me through, now that you're using Suno and you're in this world, like what are you using Suno for these days? What are some of the the projects, or kind of walk me through what does it look like when William sits down and fires up Suno and starts having a burst of creativity?
Okay. So there's three more important things I'll say on that. I'm giving away a lot of stuff now. One, when I just got Suno, I was impressed with what this thing could do by what it would randomly generate. But as a very creative person, I didn't feel nice about that because I'm paid a lot of money for my mind. So I could have been a victim of this is laziness. That kind of thing, like, oh, this is not real, oh, because this is just computers. But I have to go back because my time with AI is not Suno. It's with ChatGPT since 2019.
Wow.
I was a part of that community, and when I was paying $19 for a subscription, when we didn't, the only thing I knew ChatGPT could do was to write a good thank you letter for people who did good things for the church. And I was fascinated by that because they were like, they were like, did you? Firstly, I didn't tell them I was using ChatGPT.
Yeah, sure.
So there's this, I would send out these letters and I would do all these things on the low. So I was like this guy, I was like a one-eye man in a blind man country. I was I was killing it, because I found out that I could do all these things with ChatGPT. And this is since 2019. So by the time this whole thing came in 2021, my mentor, who is someone who is big on, this is his team, leading from the future, that community had already changed my mindset about technology. So in my mind, I do not see Suno as this thing that is making our work easy. I am actually thinking I want to be a part of those who find something to do with this thing that other people have not discovered.
Yeah.
So when I came over here, which is about a year and a half ago, or maybe less, I like, oh, let me put in a dancehall song. And I'm thinking, oh, this is good. I love it. It's nice. And that was I think was Suno 4 point something. I think, oh, that's good. But it's still not, I can't put chords into it. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it's sounding nice, but it's still not me.
Yeah.
So I found out that I could upload this is when it shifted for me, that I could upload a reference track. So this song is when I discovered what I found out about from you called the seed concept. But I didn't know that was it then. So I found out, I can't remember how I found out that it does that, but you can give it like a reference. Yeah. That's where we have in Suno. Let me open Suno. And that was 4.5 or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Where you would go into create and then you would upload the audio.
Yeah.
So I built that foundation first in Reason.
Yep.
And I throw it in there to see what it would do.
I love it.
When I saw what it could do, when it threw out the idea, because I still have the original file that I use in my DAW. In fact, the track is there. Like how you talk about keep pressing it to see what it will do. I did not want to know what it would do anymore. I was like, whoa, this is wild. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So what I did, I sent out that track there. Well, not that track, but that is it there. And I sent it out, and all of my artists that work with me liked it. Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I can't tell him I'm using Suno.
I know.
I can't. No, I can't say anything about that. That's that'd be like I'm cheating. But I know I wasn't thinking that for me. I was thinking them. I wasn't thinking me because I know it couldn't come up with that except I
That's right.
fed it to something.
That's
You know.
exactly right. That's exactly right.
And so sent out the track to a few people and people sang the track. Track has like 2 songs in it. But now I'm gonna give this track to somebody. That's the guy you hear singing there. He's with a record label. They need the files stemmed out.
Hmm.
Now we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Because then now I don't like the artifacts that
That's right.
Suno is stemming out stuff with.
Mm-hmm.
So I am thinking I'm gonna just stem the files out, like just they give you those little parts and they're gonna be okay. Send it to his people. They said they wanted to hear the files and everything. The guy said, we don't like how the synths are sung. This is how you wanted it to sound. So now I gotta give them this thing. I did not know. I knew that there was Suno Studio.
Yeah.
But I found out a trick in Suno Studio. So I'm gonna go right away. So you could go in, open Studios, Suno Studio, and like how that track was already done there. It was already in Suno. It is the seed. You ask Suno to play the piano line, and whatever it does with the piano line is to the piano that is playing there. But it stems it out with that song alone. So I tricked Suno. This is what I did. I did not take the stem from them. I recorded out the stem from them.
Interesting. I see.
I captured the stem because I did not know that I could get those. I did not trust their quality, but I trust what came out. So I used what you would call, let me show you what I used. I used an app called Loopback because I'm Apple. And I hooked it up to my DAW. And so whatever was coming out of Suno when it generated it, I just recorded it live into my DAW. So I didn't have the artifacts. Yeah. When you go into studio, you are able to create drums separate by, when you go in.
Yep.
Example, you see how they stem, how they're able to give you the stem. Well, I should not be telling you this because you're a boss with this. You know this. So you go into studio and you would you would just go there and you go into and you decide whether you're going to generate drums, bass, guitar. Mm-hmm. So when Suno generated strings for me, I decided to capture the strings originally like they created it. Because if I ask them to send it out for me, they send it with artifacts.
That's right. I see. So you just played it. You played it from Suno Studio, used Loopback to capture it, and put it into your DAW.
I put it into my DAW.
Oh man, that's so good.
And line it up. Right away, I became a god with that. Yeah. Right there I was genius. So the guys that are asking me the files now, I decided if you listen to that song, you hear a trumpet line, a saxophone line up in there. I started to create lines and everything and put the whole track together and send the files to them. They're like, man, this bass is live. This bass is beautiful. The only thing that was programmed outside of Suno, but was the same beat, was the drums. The drums was programmed outside, but it was still the same concept that came out of Suno.
I almost always have to redo the drums because like I need that separation from the kick drum to the hi-hats, and when it's all combined together, it's just really hard to get any type of fidelity out of what Suno gives you.
You're correct with that. So for me, that is what I did. But all of the other songs that are there, they came out of Suno. I started to do some work and I found out what the originators of AI, these AI machines, these generators, what is it about? There was a paper introduced on what you call transformers. It's a breakthrough AI model that powers modern tools like ChatGPT by using what you call attention to smart focus, on key parts of data instead of processing everything step by step. That was very transformative for me because I get to know how this thing is thinking.
Yeah.
They are transformers. So the core idea, so let me show you how Suno thinks. Imagine you mixing a track in your DAW, like Pro Tools or whatever. The old AI methods, they listen to audio sequentially, like playing a song from start to finish, which was slow. And that was weird. And we operate like that on a human level. The transformer now pays attention to every element at once. And it decides what's important, like how a kick drum syncs with the hi-hats on a reggae track, making it, that's how it's thinking. So the reason I became obsessed with that, because I really want to beat the machine. Well, that's the nerd in me. Just don't listen to that.
Sure. Good.
I really wanted to beat the machine.
Yeah.
So what this machine does, it deals with attention. So your prompts are very critical because you tell it where to put attention to. But it already sees everything there. That little information will change everybody. This thing, when you send a reference track to it, it analyzes everything. Your prompts actually tell it where to focus. It works on attention. A prompt is what tells. This machine is not learning. That's not what it is doing. It is quick. It is advanced. It is not trying to get better. You cannot get better than that. It knows everything. So as you put that thing up there, it analyzes everything. What your prompt does is to say, this is what I want you to pay attention to.
Yeah.
So you have to see prompt as attention. In the world of AI, there is only one part of English that you need to understand. It is adjectives. Because adjectives describes. So I'm going to give a secret away that will never go vague, will never become outdated even a million years from now. The more you know how to describe what you do, the machine will be a slave to you. Your greatest weakness is in not understanding the language of the music you're trying to create. So the next great, I believe, the next great reservoir of protected data will be what you call things. People are going to have codes like the next reservoir, the next world of secrecy will be what I call that drum, what I call that thing, because the reason you will not be able to get what I get out of Suno, you do not know what I call what I do.
I see what you're saying. Yep. I love it.
You do not know what you have not found what to tell it.
Yeah.
Because you were thinking, oh, let me say a piano chap. Maybe it doesn't hear what you want it to hear when you say chap. It might respond to what you want when it hear chapa chap. And there is where I beat you every time, because I understand that it hears chapa chap. So I'm going to say this for all of the naysayers, those who think that AI is cheating. I actually want to say that AI will make a lot of people not be able to play. Because what is going to happen, those of us who can command the machine will become gods in the earth. So let me tell you why you are important to me.
Yeah.
Because I believe that the mind has very addictive nature. Our minds as creatives, we become junkies to the last innovation in our space. We are junkies. We need to go to rehab. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If you only knew how to play drums with sticks and somebody told you can play your drums with your slippers, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Because your mind will not permit you to be comfortable playing drums with your slippers. We don't do that. You have to have enough reinforcing of the mind. So this is what is happening. And this is where we musicians, people like yourself, is important. What makes you a God amongst us? You have rewritten, or you have content on the next library or reservoir of mindsets that we need around this piece of this tool. So what people have to do is to take what you have written and keep reading it so that our mindsets can shift from seeing AI or Suno as this piece of thing that is cheating us. But you got to get past the noise of like, oh, AI is this, oh, copyright law and all of the foolishness. All that is noise. That's all of the things that's trying to get you not to plunge into the game. So when I bought your book first I bought one of your book on Amazon, I'm like, this dude, let me tell you the first thing I learned from you.
Yeah.
You reading your book, you made me realize that my music has money. Like music.
Yeah.
Publishing is investment. So you know that I read your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even think the music industry want this guy to become popular because he's going to frick up the whole game.
William, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. What are your parting words of wisdom for myself, for the listeners?
So I believe that there is fear because AI is disrupting our narrative of how we have created, not creativity. It is disrupting the methods, the tools that we have used. Imagine you talking to your grandfather 60 years ago about me being on Zoom, and I actually said Zoom. I will be going on Zoom to talk with Granny on my Android phone. Every one of those words would have never made sense to him. Zoom, neither Android. Sure, Android might have sounded very demonic, but none would have made any sense. To have a conversation around that then would have been crazy. What are we having now? We are seeing a community that has accidentally disrupted and brought in a possibility of what we can do. And instead of us jumping on the bandwagon, we start to become judges of what is ethical. That has always happened. That is why the ugly guy in class gets the beautiful girl, because you're still thinking that you are this cute guy and you should have her. By the way, you have not spoken to her as yet. The ugly guy talks to her. And she falls in love with him because he actually talks with her. But you are still cute, but you tremble every time you pass her. With all good as you are still not talking to her. So the ugly guy always gets the nice girl because he's not ashamed to mess with her. I believe that AI, Suno, and what is happening with music, if you are smart, get your ethics and all of the craziness out of the way. Let the lawyers deal with that. Let the fools around us deal with that. But take this thing as a tool and begin to have it to transform your world. Because we have learned one thing about history and change. There are changes that doesn't give a damn about what you think. And you will have a serious problem because you might be alive long enough for your grandchildren to say, my grandfather was a fool. He was alive. Like, granddad, what were you doing when Suno came out? We should have had shares in Suno. Like, why you didn't think of Suno? And you were ashamed to say, oh, your grandfather, back then, I wasn't smart. So you do not want to be that grandfather. Let's jump on board with it. If the ship sink, we still have our old method to go back to. But you don't want that ship to leave you on the shore.
That was William Harper, classically trained pianist, cruise ship band leader, and now one of the most thoughtful voices I've encountered on what it actually means to command these tools rather than just use them. The bit about adjectives, that one is going to stick with me for sure. The more precisely you can describe what it is that you hear in your head, the more the machine becomes a slave to your vision. That is lean-to thinking at its finest. William, thank you for your time and being so generous with what you have figured out. I have a feeling we'll be having you back. If today's conversation sparks something for you, if you're starting to see what's possible when serious musicians bring real musical knowledge to these tools, Red Lab Access is where the journey continues. The books, the research, the blueprints, the community of directors doing this work every day. One price, lifetime access, everything included. jgbeatslab.com/red-lab-access. Link is in the show notes. Red Lab Conversations drop every Tuesday. AI Music Revolution drops every Friday. Don't miss either one. I'll see you next time. One more thing before you go. Every Thursday morning, I send out a newsletter, one email a week. It's where I share what I'm working on in the studio, the research running the lab, and the methodology I'm refining in real time. New books, new blueprints, new findings from the Red Lab protocol research. If that sounds useful, the sign up is right on the homepage at jgbeatslab.com. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next Friday.